We need new heroes, one suited for the times we're in.
The 6-episode event has arrived on Disney+, and it's an action-packed epic.
People need something to get behind. And we're gonna do it our own way.
It's a pulse-pounding experience that will leave you breathless.
The only power I have is that I believe we can do better.
The last time we see Sam and Bucky is after Steve leaves the shield with Sam. Sam is coming to terms with what it's going to be to pick up that shield. And that's where we kick off the show.
The legacy of that shield is complicated.
When Disney Plus was announced, there was an opportunity to interweave the cinematic universe with the television universe. The world of the Falcon and Winter Soldier in the films is so big, and you want this show to feel as big and as engrossing.
I think fans will definitely get a kick out of seeing a continuation of that kind of filmmaking that those movies had.
Sam, this has to be subtle.
Got it.
The action side is so embedded in what the MCU is, but through the show, we wanted to look at the human side of the characters.
For Bucky, it's the legacy of the Winter Soldier. His anchor point to the person who knew him before he was a murder machine no longer exists. So Bucky feels unmoored in the series and is looking for his purpose. And Sam Wilson is very much doing the same thing.
When Steve first told me about the shield, the first words I said were, feels like it's someone else's.
I felt like we would be dishonest just on a human level if we had this black man just accept the symbol without having real ambivalence about it.
With this series, we've been able to give a level of sincerity and humanity to him. You get a real sense of what this character, Sam Wilson, really is.
The notion of what blackness means in America ties very much into Sam's journey through the events of the show.
There's a fight out there, and then there's our fight here. And bro, you have taken them both on.
Well, let's get to work. The scope of these 6 episodes is really amazing. I mean, it's a huge story.
Falcon and Winter Soldier are really vibrant and electric characters. So when you are thrust into the action, you sink into the narrative and where the story ultimately goes.
Welcome back, everyone. This is going to be my new Falcon and Winter Soldier Episode 3 trailer video. We'll talk all about what's going on with Baron Zemo, the Super Soldier Serum. There's a whole bunch of Easter eggs. So if you're brand new to the channel, I'm doing videos for all the episodes. Be sure to subscribe to get everything. We're doing a giveaway for Disney Plus memberships too. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and just post all your theories about what you think is happening in the comments. But careful for spoilers for everything that's happened on Falcon and Winter Soldier so far if you haven't seen it. I'll also talk a little bit about Wandavision stuff and obviously stuff from the Marvel movies. But where we pick up in Episode 3, Falcon and Winter Soldier are on their way to Baron Zemo's prison back in Germany to learn more about the Hydra angle and all this as it relates to the Flag Smashers in the Super Soldiers. Because at this point, they're kind of mistakenly thinking that the Flag Smashers are literally Hydra, but just in a different form, like when the Nazis fled Europe after World War II and went to Argentina to avoid being arrested for war crimes. Bucky's kind of jumped to that conclusion because of their conversation with Elijah Bradley in their history fighting each other during the Korean War. Like when Bucky was still Hydra, because all those years, Hydra as well as the US military were trying to replicate the Super Soldier Serum. I'll get into that in a second because per Elijah Bradley, both the US and Hydra were doing super shady stuff with the Super Soldier programs all those years. It all started after Captain America went in the ice and Red Skull was teleported to Vormir by the Tesseract. I know everyone's hoping for some Red Skull Easter eggs during this just because so much of the series draws from the Captain America character in the movies. But they have that funny scene where Falcon is making fun of Bucky's cyborg brain like gears are turning, they're malfunctioning. What Bucky is thinking in this moment after discovering the 8 new super soldiers as the Flag Smashers is instantly he's thinking of the Hydra super soldiers that were his teammates in those Captain America Civil War flashbacks. And he's just thinking that Hydra somehow found a way to create more Super Soldier Serum since the 90s, when the flashback was taking place. Winter Soldier killed Howard Stark, Iron Man's father, in the early 90s while on a mission to steal the samples of Super Soldier Serum that he had produced. It's not meant to be the same version of the serum that Steve Rogers, Red Skull, and Bucky all got back during World War II. So if it wasn't clear, Howard Stark was also part of Thunderbolt Ross's Weapons Plus program just back in the 90s. You have to remember that young Howard Stark was on the original Super Soldier Serum team. He was working with Erskine to create the first version of Captain America, so of course Howard Stark himself would also still be working on the program many years later. But getting back to the Hydra super soldiers, if it wasn't clear, they got rid of all those Hydra super soldiers back during Civil War. Baron Zemo basically just turned off all their life support systems in the cryo tanks, killing the rest of them before Iron Man, Captain America, and Winter Soldier showed up at the base. The big twist of that moment during his big villain monologue was that he hated the idea of super soldiers running around, like he had no plans to unleash them on the world. What? Oh, you think that I'm going to use them? No, I killed them a long time ago. Like Zemo says during the other trailer footage we've already seen, superheroes should not be allowed to exist, so he also considers those to be the super soldiers that are running around. He hates the idea of them. But the reason why Bucky wants to get help from Zemo now in present day, as he says in the episode, is because Zemo knows all of Hydra's secrets. I think some people were confused by the line at the end of the episode where he refers to Zemo as his people. He's talking about Zemo and Hydra in the same breath because Zemo isn't literally Hydra, it's just because he's a Hydra encyclopedia. Zemo learned all their secrets when he was trying to gather information as part of his plot to use Winter Soldier to help break up the Avengers. So because they're hyping up the idea that the Powerbrokers in their organization are behind the Super Soldier Serum that the Flag Smashers got, the way they became super soldiers, and Zemo hates super soldiers, I think we can cross Zemo off the list of people who might secretly be behind the Powerbroker. And if it wasn't clear, the way they're using the name, the Powerbroker is a person, but also the name of an organization on the series. That's the way it is in the comics. Like, it's no one person, but there is an actual character that's referred to as the Powerbroker. It's the same thing they're doing with the Flag Smasher name. So Aaron Kellyman's character, Carly, is a version of the Flag Smasher character from the comics, but they're also using the name as the name of their entire organization. They're doing the same thing with the Powerbroker name. And if Powerbroker Inc. is connected to the Super Soldier Serum and Thunderbolt Ross is behind the Weapons Plus version of the Super Soldier Serum, there could be some tangential relationship between the Powerbrokers and Thunderbolt Ross in the US military. We just haven't seen the US military Weapons Plus side of that yet. We've only been seeing the Flag Smashers Powerbroker side of that so far. That doesn't mean that Thunderbolt Ross is the Powerbroker or he's behind the Powerbrokers. It just means that he might have some ties to that organization. Then in the trailer, we see Winter Soldier helping Falcon train at his home. You see him meeting Falcon's family, just some funny moments. The special tech case that he has there might just be a version of his wings and armor, maybe a new version of Red Wing. It's still not clear in all this other footage when he gets the shield back from US Agent Captain America. I still think it's just one shield. Like you see the other footage of US Agent Captain America with it here in the warehouse. Then you see Falcon throwing it in a separate scene in the same warehouse with Flag Smasher or with Carly's character kicking the shield. But it's not clear where all this footage of him training with it at his home takes place, because clearly it seems like it's after all this stuff. Like at some point he either takes it back from New Captain America or the new Cap gives it to him, and given the way they left things at the end of episode 2, they don't seem like they're going to be best buds anytime soon. But at some point, somehow, he gets the shield back. And it seems like before they head to Madripoor, they have some sort of agreement with the US military that allows them to continue pursuing the Flag Smashers on their own. Like they say, we're going to do it our own way. That's another reference to the conversation that they have with the new Cap at the end of episode 2 about how they're not bound by military protocols of engagement the way that he is. Not that I think that's going to stop the new dark version of Captain America, like military protocols, rules of engagement, who cares about that? I cannot wait to watch him go completely off the rails. There's also this footage of an explosion inside what looks like a lab with biohazard symbols on some of these containers, so this probably has something to do with the Powerbroker Flag Smashers plot. But this funeral scene is of the Flag Smashers burying one of their own. Maybe it's the teammate who sacrificed himself in episode 2 so they could get away, or maybe it's another one of their teammates who dies later. There are way more of them here too, so it seems like it's one of those communities that they're delivering quote-unquote supplies to. I'm also hoping they start to tease more of the Weapons Plus Thunderbolt Ross storyline with US Agents Captain America. Like, it seems as if he keeps getting one-upped by the Flag Smashers, like he got his ass kicked by a little girl, like they made the joke about Winter Soldier, you got your ass kicked by that little girl. The same thing happened to that angry new Captain America. So if we're all tying this back to Super Soldier Program, Weapons Plus, you remember what happened during the Incredible Hulk movie when the Abomination tried to capture the Hulk at the very beginning of the film. He got his ass handed to him immediately. So that's when Thunderbolt Ross came in like, hold my beer, I've got a little something that might be able to help you out. He dusts off the latest iteration of his Super Soldier Serum that they replicated, and the tank here reads Weapons Plus. But the reason why the name on here is Dr. Reinstein is because Reinstein was Dr. Erskine's real name during that first Captain America movie. Erskine was just the pseudonym he was using when he decided to defect to the United States. And you notice that the batch number on this tank reads Batch 6, Version 2. So it means it's the 6th iteration of the Weapons Plus program. Each new test subject becomes a new number. Like Steve Rogers is Designation Weapon 1. Wolverine is Designation Weapon 10. The X in Weapon X stands for Roman numeral 10. So I guess that means that the Abomination is the MCU Weapon 6. In more Hulk Easter eggs, like they referenced the Hulk at the beginning of Episode 2, Hulk's gamma experiments that wound up turning him into the Hulk were all part of the Weapons Plus program. Remember in that first Captain America movie when they bombard his body with Vita rays after they dosed him with the super soldier serum in order to activate the serum in his body, like get it to actually do the work of enhancing him? In present day, Thunderbolt Ross was trying to get the Hulk to do something similar, but using gamma rays to bombard people's bodies. Thunderbolt Ross even says, well, maybe it seemed like something went wrong, or maybe something went very right. One of my other favorite lines of dialogue from him in that movie is when he says, I consider that man's entire body property of the US military. Like he considers the Hulk literally is property of the US military. Later in that movie, Abomination also has the leader character, who also still alive in the MCU, could always potentially come back. He has him bombard him with gamma rays after dosing him with more of the Hulk's gamma-infused blood. And that's what upgrades him to full-blown comic book Abomination. So it's always possible that Dark Captain America here eventually has the Weapons Plus program give him a version of the super soldier serum so that he can match these other Flag Smasher super soldiers. I'm also kind of hoping that that puts him on track for potential Thunderbolts return. Like, I don't think they're going to kill his character off or anything like that. Anybody who doesn't wind up dying in the MCU is always potential to come back in the future. But it's pretty clear that Falcon is going to get the shield and become the new version of Captain America eventually. So then what happens to this new dark version of Captain America if they wind up taking the name from him? Early theory, he goes super dark, takes the US agent name or a slightly different comic book name, and then winds up potentially coming back during a future Thunderbolts project. But everyone let me know in the comments, do you think that they're going to give the new Dark Captain America a similar Abomination-style storyline where eventually they do dose him up with a version of the super soldier serum? As far as Falcon goes, I don't think that he's going to wind up getting the serum. It's always possible, but I think the idea, especially in all the dialogue that he has in these trailers, is where he says, I don't have special powers. My special power is the belief that we can do better. In the same way that Iron Man doesn't have special powers or enhancements, he just has his technology to put him on the level of the other Avengers heroes. I'll do a couple more bonus videos for Falcon and Winter Soldier this week, but leave all your video requests in the comments below. There's a couple really big things coming out soon. Everyone click here for my full Falcon and Winter Soldier Episode 2 video and Easter eggs, and click here for my brand new Suicide Squad trailer video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys tonight.